And actually, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because I know me.
You know, so that's our life's mission. That's the McShin's mission.
You don't have to understand my boundaries to respect them.
Well, no, I'm the president and co-founder of McShin, a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorders.
How do you go about fixing the damage in the trust between the family after you get out?
Okay, I gotta work on that.
Celebrating my 6 months. Didn't have cake.
Yeah.
Gosh, you showed up.
If you spend your spare time being a person of purpose for this movement and what we do here, imagine where that can end up one day. You think about that. Especially, see, by doing that little extra piece takes off the table the addict mind, the idle mind's the devil's workshop. I might just go on down to Bubba's, have a beer, do one bong hit. Next thing you know, you're back up in here shaking your head going, what happened? So, believe it or not, man, we got nuggets all around us. If you look for a nugget, you'll find a nugget. If you act like a nugget don't exist, then you'll never find a nugget. How many times you go through the day thinking, this day sucks, but something happened along the way, and it turned out to be a pretty good day. That's a principle. That's a recovery principle. That's the peace. That's what Nelson Mandela used to speak about that when he did his little 28-year bit in a South African prison just for being black. You know, huh? I said it definitely wasn't little. No, it wasn't a little 28-year bit, but he never let his mind get locked up. And after 28 years, he had a choice to make. He had all kinds of people throwing him big money. Let's get back into revolution. Let's go back being a radical rebel. Let's go back and do this. And he said, I ain't going that route. He went with old Bishop Tutu and his crowd. Next thing you know, he was South Africa's deemed #1 terrorist. He ended up being president of that country. Not only that, he had a nuclear weapon too, so I'd say that ain't bad. Most felons in America ain't gonna get a nuke. That was funny as shit. But he kept his mind free. Trouble coming through the door, fellas. Ring the bell. Might want to take your mask off, too. They don't like masked men in here. How we doing? Y'all want to do a wave? Yeah. Oh, you think that's funny? I love waves, man. But in any event, you know, when I was a new guy, August 10th, 1982, I just never could have dreamed one day I would be who and what I am today, having the impact I'm having with recovery and addiction in our systems. You know, so you just never know how this is going to end. You never know where it's going to go. But if you repeat past behaviors, it won't never go far. So, just getting y'all nice and calm before the storm here. We got a handheld mic. Are they wired in? Yep. Hey, you got to take your mask off, man. Take your hoodie off, too, and your hat. You can't have none of that shit on in here. I know you are. All right, you three ladies, come up front. Come on. That's a Marine Corps phrase, you know, like the drill instructor, the boots. You're ladies until you graduate and get your Marine Corps emblem. All right, look. What we got here is 3 fine specimens of early recovery, man. Wonderful guys, Manny, Mo, and Jack. But what I thought I'd do is I know all 3 of them pretty good. You got to actually speak into the mic because this is wired into Facebook. We're live right now, okay? So we want to record it for the live broadcast as well as the recording that takes place. So you can go home and watch yourself too, man. But this is Travis, Michael, and Coleman. And Coleman came to us from Mississippi. He found McShin. I'm not sure how he found us, but it was in Mississippi. Michael found us from South Carolina, Charleston. Once again, I ain't sure how they found us, but man, they come from all over the country to be at McShin. And Travis, well, he's kind of a local guy that likes to travel a lot, but he always ends up back here. Now, what I think is special about these three men is they understand the disease of addiction and how dangerous it is and how their life's going to be if they keep going down that road. But they're all fresh in a new start for recovery. But what I thought I'd do is just have them take a few minutes, brief us on a little bit of their history, where they've been, what they've done, how they ended up here, and then we'll get into their motivational factor, because the truth is they all three, even though they all got serious problems and troubles, they're highly motivated for this new way of life. And these guys and girls have been coming here now. We've been coming since November, so it's been mainly the same group. And so they've been listening to us now for 6 months, and I would characterize them as a fairly motivated group of people who I would guess cannot wait to get back out on the streets and try this new way of life, right? Can't wait, man. They probably feel like it's a bit of an overkill being held this long so they can test their newfound information and knowledge, but I'm not in charge of the length of time folks are here for. But I'm going to start with Coleman first so Travis can take notes on how simple this is, because Travis will complicate it. He's one of those 5-minute pieces of talk to get like a 20-second answer. So, all right, Coleman from Mississippi. Give him a hand for coming up in here.
So we got question and answer. Just
no. What you're going to do is speak loudly so they can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Speak of your journey, your illness, what you did, all the time you spent running big rehabs, and how you ended up back here, and the old lady you ripped off. All that stuff.
All that stuff. Yeah. Let's talk about her.
All within 5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. All right. That can be a long time. All right. I'm Coleman. I'm 38 years old. I'm actually originally from Mobile, Alabama. I found Mississippi due to my addiction. I found a program named Teen Challenge. Y'all might know about it. It's Adult Teen Challenge.
Any of y'all been to Teen Challenge?
Anything like that? It's a faith-based program. But so my addiction started, obviously, like most of us, probably around 13. Started smoking weed, and that developed into.
Did you smoke cigarettes or drink alcohol before that?
I did not.
You went straight to weed.
Straight to weed.
He's
man.
one out of 50 to go straight to weed.
Yeah, straight to weed. As soon as my homeboy could drive, I was driving to school with him, and it just started right then. So, but weed was the first drug, and then of course it turned into alcohol, and then it was just through high school, it was just partying. I was actually a high school athlete.
When did you first get in trouble?
First get in trouble?
Yeah.
My first assault case was when I was 17.
Oh, you a fighter?
Assault with a deadly weapon, yeah.
How'd that end?
They assumed there was brass knuckles, but I swear there wasn't. So, but yeah, we just, it just developed into the lifestyle. It wasn't no particular drug that held me down in high school. It was just partying. Of course, the whole thing, women fighting. But I actually survived it due to a mentor of mine.
And you went to college?
Yeah, a mentor of mine was the assistant coach, Greg Connors. He had played for the San Francisco Giants, but I had signed a scholarship as a junior, and so they knew in my senior year I had a scholarship coming. So he stood up and fought for me because I'd have failed out my senior year, and because of him, I made it to college. Now, he wasn't there, so I didn't finish college. I definitely wasn't involved in the academics. It was just on the ball field. But so I failed every drug test in college that we had, and they kept me there through junior college, and I got to play half a semester at UAB. But when they medical redshirted me, I just chose to opt out of the whole idea of going back to school and being an athlete, and I just dove right into cocaine. It was brief, and then I had my first experience. He'll call me a Jesus boy, but I had my first experience getting saved at 19 years old. And through that relationship, my eyes were open to my addiction and who I was. But the language is different in recovery versus faith-based. So, but I'm learning right now through NA.
Did you go to Teen Challenge at 19?
No.
Okay.
I went. So 19, I got saved. Went a year with being sober.
Okay.
Then I found a relationship.
Oh, slip on every skirt,
yeah,
man.
Sir.
You hear that?
So as soon as that happened, it pulled me out of the church. I started making money, trying to impress her, trying to get back to who I was. My language changed. My whole direction changed. And then I found the first needle in my arm. So it went from just snorting cocaine to running it. That took me on a 6-year journey. And so I didn't find teen challenge till I was 25, but through the 20s, I got locked up for 10 months and was facing a 5-year suspended 15 for a burglary heist. We were going around robbing gambling machines off of out of the local bars, and so they tried to pop me with like 18 indictments, trying to hit a bunch of burglaries on me, trying to pin them on me, but they didn't.
So you started going to jail.
I started being a criminal.
All right.
Yes, sir.
We're going to speed this up a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
Then you ended up in
Boom.
teen challenge.
Ended up in teen challenge. I was sober 4 years.
4 years.
4 years, and became a program director of a 60-man ministry.
Ran a treatment center.
Yes, I did.
4 years clean.
Yeah, very humiliated about that, but
No,
it is what it is.
No, it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all good. That's great experience.
Yeah, I had the experience, had the knowledge, I had the know-how, but what I didn't know how to do was manage my relationships, because the very thing that took me out of the church, it did it again. So I never knew how to manage a relationship.
Now, y'all pay attention. That's why that first step, we're powerless over our disease, our lives have become unmanageable. This is the most unmanageable illness you can possibly have, and never think you can manage it alone, because this is a sample of what happens when you think you can manage your life without direction and guidance and mentorship. I got a sponsor to this day. I live by the steps and traditions to this day. I listen to my wife, God bless her, to this day. So I let people help me manage my life, because I'll promise you I would screw it up.
Yep.
Fast forward.
Well, fast forwarding is, for some reason I can manage
We got 3 guys.
For some reason I can manage my disease when I'm alone, but for some reason when
Look where you're at. Are you kidding me?
No. I'm saying I'm comparing it to a relationship with a woman.
Oh,
so my disease is a dysfunctional relationship with a woman, because I didn't mention that throughout my childhood I had a very dysfunctional relationship with my mother, and I'd never understood that evolving until I'm on my 5th relationship that I can never manage. But what I do well is cope with those relationships using drugs and alcohol. So when I get in a relationship, it pulls me away from just that strength I have to focus on me.
Anything you put in front of your higher power in your recovery program, you're going to lose. So you got to keep that first and everything else second. My wife to this day understands my home group is more important than whatever else I'm supposed to do. And my recovery anniversary is more important than her birthday, our marriage, Christmas, all those other dates. I make that clear. Yeah. And
that's a great point, because that's the point really when you wrap it up with, is the fact that I had a network, I had a church, I had people to rely on, I had knowledge, and I know how to stay sober. But what it is every time I get to that place where I want to cope, I drop all that.
But anyways, fast forward, because we got 2 other guys here.
Okay.
So you're a good businessman. Not a good businessman, but you know how to make money in the
I know how to make money
world.
in contracting. I'm a remodeler by trade. And so money's easy to make, and that's a snare for me, because when I get comfortable, I don't manage it
When we
well.
start making money, we forget about meetings, home group, and service
That's
work.
right.
Remember I was talking about find your purpose before we got started? If you don't find a purpose and keep a purpose in front, nothing else matters, and this is living proof right here.
Yep.
How old are you now?
I'm 38 now.
You're 38. You just completed 28 days at McShin.
Yes, sir.
And you got a new lease on life. You're very excited about trying to get your life straight.
I am.
But what kind of records are you currently dealing with?
I'm dealing with another divorce. Got divorced while I was here, righteously so. I became
money situation.
Money situation is poor right now. I'm in
2
debt.
months behind on a truck payment.
Easily, but I'm about
3 months.
About $8,000 in debt.
In debt.
Yeah. So just come on.
I mean, I'm just trying to help keep it moving. And he got a blessed customer that's working with him, because he misappropriated the
skipped out of town with their money. Yeah.
But you feel like you're in a good spot.
But I'm in a good place now.
You're damn right. Give him a hand, man. We're coming back to him in a minute. Now, Mike's lucky, because I don't know that much about Mike. Mike to your mouth so the Facebook people can hear you. You got to keep it up there. That's for the live feed.
All right. My name's Mike. I'm addicted to chaos, destruction, and disappointment.
Give Mike a hand for showing up tonight, man.
I'm gonna run through the past real quick, because I think y'all need to hear about my last 30 days more than you need to hear about.
Speak loud so they can hear you in the back.
Can you hear me in the back?
You can now, because you're speaking loud.
So at 14, I had a pretty traumatic experience. I got put out. At 16, I was sitting in the back of a strip club with a pregnant baby mama dancing on stage, studying for my GED. Made it through that. Moved from South Carolina to Maine at 17.
You had a very traumatic experience at 14. You just shared with me today.
And I know you.
That's okay. I think it's important because, look, we all have different traumas in our life, right? I mean, I need an hour to get into mine, but he shared something with me that I thought, oh, my God, the burden that must have been, you know.
Skip that?
You sure?
Yeah.
That's important. Share it, but put the mic to your mouth. You're going to be all right. They're going to love you no matter what.
When I was 14 years old, I walked into my stepdad trying to kill my mother. Unintentionally, I killed him. It's not what I meant to do. It just happened. He was a big man. I knew if he wasn't moving, he couldn't hurt us anymore. The people came in. They said I didn't do anything wrong. My brother told them the story. I didn't get in any trouble. My mama put me out. She still blamed me and said that I killed him. I murdered her husband. She put me on the street. At 16, I was selling crack in the back of a strip club. Got a stripper pregnant. She was 23. I was raised differently and with a different generation by my grandparents that you get a girl pregnant, you marry her, you take care of it, you take care of your responsibilities. I never left South Carolina in my life. I left South Carolina the first place I went. I moved to Maine.
That's cold country, by the way.
I was there 7 years, and she passed away. I was left with the kid by myself. A few years later, I moved back to South Carolina. The best thing I did was I got him through high school with no addiction, no criminal record, and no babies. Once he moved out, it was time to have fun. All the shit I missed out on, I thought it was time to do.
Wait a minute, you were selling crack in a strip club at 16. That had to have been fun somewhere along the line, man. I mean,
Yeah, strippers are fun.
yeah. Point is, you
Just
went off
on
the
from
deep
there.
end.
Yeah, for the past 4 years, I've been in and out of recovery up and down the East Coast. In the last 6 months, I've lived in Indianapolis, Nashville, North Carolina, and now I'm in
But
Virginia.
you went to jail in here somewhere,
All
right?
those states I've been to jail in,
Right.
except Virginia.
Yeah, YET.
Yes,
you're
I wore the
eligible too.
onesie for a while.
But anyway, you just did 28 days.
Anybody got a cake? No. Love them cakes.
That's a relationship right there waiting to happen.
Love them cakes. Damn, I make them at home. Up and down the East Coast, most of them were just like work camps. They get you in, the people work there, they really don't care about you. I showed up, I spent my last $11 from a hotel, no plan, no nothing. I showed up on the doorstep of McShin. They let me in. 2 weeks in, I went to put some crosses up at a church. We put about 1,500 of them in the ground. And I opened the trailer, and there's like 3,000 more of people that have overdosed, just in Virginia.
In 1 year.
In 1
Of
year.
the deaths associated with addiction is like 3,500 a year. If you count all the alcohol death, the addiction-related death, the overdose deaths, it's 3,500 a year.
It was a 2.5-hour ride back. I couldn't speak. That night I went from like, what the fuck to what the fuck can I do about it? And it just put it on my heart. And now I really want to reach kids from like 13 to 7. I want to catch them before they get like me, where it's not so hard to get a job because I got 50 felonies, or I've deteriorated my body so much I can't live up to the potential that I used to have. I just feel like that's where I want to go with this. And
You know, I've been working with these three men for the last few days, some of them longer, off and on, and I can tell you unequivocally, these guys are just the nicest, can be sweetest guys, just real gents. They're all very capable with their hands. They got such wonderful common sense for construction work and carpentry work and maintenance work. And it's like they're all $1 million potential operators if they get the stuff untwisted and get their head right, get grounded, find purpose, get the right mentorship, the right community. I mean, it's like, and this is indicative to you guys. I've been coming here since November, and I ain't seen a bad one yet up in here. You know what I mean? So this is our story. You know, we are the right people for Earth, but we got to sort of get the shit out, purge all the stuff that's holding us back, the trauma, I mean, and all the other negative stuff, and then let the good stuff in, man. We can rise like a Scud missile. So give Mike a hand. This is Shaky Travis.
I'm super nervous. I don't do good with public speaking.
This ain't public speaking. This is your people, man.
Yeah, this is my people, man.
You're with your tribe, man.
All right. I'm Travis. I'm a Class A mess up. I've been getting high and drunk since I was 15. No, first jail stint at 18. First prison stint at 21. I've done 5 years of my life in this jail alone. But that's all over with now, thank God. I started doing heroin a good 20 years ago. I'm in the deep end of my 40s now. Well, touching my toe in it. I'm on the other side of half. I've been to only one program before. That was McShin. The first time I went there, I came from a jail program. I made it about, 3 weeks before I overdosed and somebody died. Came on back into jail. Went to prison again, turned a 3-month sentence into 2.5 years, little thing. Got out with all good intentions, all great intentions. But the only thing is I was getting high the whole time I was in prison and jail too. I'm looking for the pack, subos, whatever you can get, whatever I can get my hands on. Like I said, Class A fuck up. But thinking I was gonna get out and be clean. It lasted about the ride home. Some heroin was there, but I said no to it. I sniffed a sub. I took the old, I'm clean because this is doctor prescribed to somebody. It won't to me, though. About 2 weeks later, I was already sniffing dope again. About 4 months later, I was already shooting dope again. And then I got on methadone, and I thought I was clean, but it was methadone in the morning and speedballs for lunch. But I still called myself clean because I was on methadone, handcuffed to the methadone clinic with no intentions of stopping, no intentions at all. And I started getting convicted about, is this how I want my life to be? I'm not going to do this till I'm 50. I will off myself. I'm not going to do it. So I started just kind of praying to a higher power. And I had a full-on spiritual experience. Like a week later, everything was lifted off of me. I don't know how to explain it, but no sickness, no nothing. He did that for me, my higher power. And I thought that was the end-all, be-all. My family thought I had gone crazy because all of a sudden I was talking crazy stuff to them. So they scheduled an MRI for me. Told me I needed psychiatric help.
That's when they discovered those marbles. Like, how'd they get in your head?
Yeah, I wish I would have known a stroke would have cured addiction, a 27-year addiction a long time ago. I would have tried to have one. So anyways, just getting bombarded with that, sometimes you got to get away from people. Sometimes it's your own family. So I called my brother that works for McShin. I was like, hey, I need a safe place. And it was, boom, he was on the way. I called him back. I was like, I think I'm going to turn myself into jail. Because I did have a warrant here, an old warrant from 4 years ago, a probation violation, which I turned myself in for. Don't worry about it. Walked in and walked out. Because I had been a month and a half clean, and I was doing the right thing. I'm getting certificates. I'm learning, finding brains I never knew I had. I have a passion for people that are locked up because I've been here with y'all a lot. I never worked a program because I didn't want nobody to tell me what to do. That's the other half after the spiritual experience that I had. That wasn't the end-all, be-all. I got up here 2 weeks into it. Nobody could tell me nothing. I've had a spiritual experience. What the do you know? And then I realized what I was doing wrong, and it's part of step one. Getting rid of that self-will. Let it go. It's a hard thing because I don't like nobody telling me, take some trash out? Simple instructions. Go to groups. I don't want to hear that shit. Listen to the people that are just as messed up as me. How can they help me? About 2 weeks that wore off, and I prayed one night, and I was like, God, just kill the self-will off me. Just let me surrender all the way. And that was more of a spiritual awakening than being delivered from drugs and alcohol. All of a sudden, it just opened up for me. I was like, oh, man, this is what I've been missing. Take the trash out? Yes, I will.
What he's talking about is the benefits from working the steps.
Steps.
This is the benefit you get from step work.
I was working them and didn't even know I was working them. And I was thinking, I had a spiritual experience, but why am I in NA? They didn't help me, but then I found God in them rooms because it's people being honest. Once you strip away like all your ego and start thinking, man.
How long you been clean now?
I got just 60 days.
60 days. Give him a hand. 60 days is a big hit. But you motivated right now, man.
I feel it a little bit.
You are. I mean, none of these guys say no to anything.
I would have never stopped. I had no intention of stopping. But a little bit of killing the self-will and a little bit of honesty goes a long way, man. And I hope all y'all do good.
You see that women's house on the news, right? He spent 2-3 weeks working there damn near every day, cleaning it, painting it, getting it ready. If you look close enough on the fence out front, you'll see where he missed a spot at the bottom.
I didn't do it.
But yes, he did. He missed it. My brushes were dried out, but the house looks good.
I'm
man.
still unmanageable as hell, that's for sure.
All right, listen. Anything to add? You just heard him talk. You see what we're working with. Any added value? Give him the mic. I mean, because sometimes the brains, there's something you wish you could have said and you forgot.
Going first and not understanding where we're at because this got dropped on us at the last minute.
Oh, you loved it, man.
And I ain't no speaker, but yeah, I just being willing to do something like this wouldn't have been me, 45 days ago. But what I have learned through the program is to stay honest, open-minded, and willing, and to work on my humility. And for me, that's a big deal because I'm a control freak. I like to control and manage everything in my life.
You delegated pretty good when you was making store runs to these guys.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, that's after 45 days. No, but just working the program myself. I'm new to the NA, but I see the love. That's what changed me at McShin. It wasn't just the principles.
So you did Teen Challenge all these years, never really experienced a 12-step program.
I've never
in NA,
experienced it.
But now you see that.
But I enjoy it because it's got an openness to it. Like it allows people to share their stories a lot more than we did in our faith-based. We're really more in classroom settings where you're just learning from curriculum and getting preached at, which is, it's helpful. You learn a lot about the Word of God, and don't get me wrong, I stayed sober off of it, and I believe in God, and that is the faith that I have. But in this program, I just found some really good people, and they helped.
They're
me.
not all like me. We actually got some really good people.
No,
over
they
at
just
McShin,
they
man.
came around me and supported me any day that I'm a loner, so like I do everything on my own.
But you learn how to not only do the work, but work with others.
Work with others.
Because we're in this together. There ain't no lone wolf McQuaid up in here. You ain't gonna do this alone.
I'll be doing laps around the parking lot, and the next thing I know, there's 2 or 3 riding with me, and I'm like, golly, this is crazy, man. Like, but the love changed me. You know what I mean? Amongst the program.
This is our pickup panel, Marshall.
Yeah.
So.
The
Marshall's
love,
the hit man. He's paying close attention.
Yeah.
Right.
The love of the groups, just seeing the openness of people willing to like pull the newcomer in and just love on them and not make them feel vulnerable or make them feel isolated.
But you're talking about finding purpose. You're watching the light bulb of purpose be lit right here on all 3 of these guys. Trust me, I've seen them all in action. They found something outside of themselves, something of value through their lived experience. And they're able to share that with that new person just coming in across the parking lot, take the time out and unconditionally, spiritually in nature, trying to lift those people up based on their experience. Like, hey, look, I've been new. I had my first day at the smoke shack. I know what it's like to sit out here with no Newports. Here, let's talk. This is how this works, man. And y'all going to love recovery, man. When you get it in mainstream, trust me, you don't realize it, but it's like you're in here doing recovery push-ups. So when you get out there, you're going to be a natural at it. I promise you that. But you got to go where the love is. You got to go toward the light. Right. Don't go back where you've been.
And I can say something just to cross-thread and correlate our faith, and if any of you guys read the Bible, but the newcomer stood out to me, big deal. Because when I was in there, they didn't let me feel like I was a newcomer. They pulled me in. And if you read the parables of the gospel, he talks about the 99 and the 1 leaving the 99 to get the 1. And that's what it reminds me of, because the ones that are already in there take that one that's coming in and they just pull him back in the fold.
Absolutely.
And they make him feel welcome, and they make him
you
feel
got some Bible folks out here, right?
Yeah.
You understand it.
But the love is the key, and that's what changed my life.
Go where the love is, baby. Go with it. Mike, nothing else? You sure? Mike's a good boy, man. I love Mike. He likes sailor sandwiches. Hey, Marshall. He's got a mic.
I got a mic. You know, and man, this is how God works in my life. You know, somebody had asked me to share at their anniversary. And, you know, and it was like, well, come up with a topic. You know, what do you want to share about? You know? And I said, about the newcomer. You know? At some point, the newcomer and the old timer is the most important person in that meeting. Why? Because if you don't see newcomers in the meeting, then that means that the message is not being passed around.
You got to carry a message.
You got
baby.
to carry the message. You know, this ain't a selfish program. You know? And when I think about what they were saying about being a newcomer, you know, and man, it's so much enrichment, it's so much life, you know, and you coming in here and doing something that you didn't think you were capable of doing. You know? I mean, to put it on an even keel, me and John, some experiences could happen in our life that they would give us the same suggestions that they would the newcomer. You know? 90 means in 90 days. You know?
Your wife is always right.
Yeah. You know?
That was funny, man.
If you had some stuff go on with family stuff that go on, and you felt like you've been disconnected, how to get connected? I don't care how long you've been here. 90 means in 90 days. That's a suggestion. I don't care how long you be here. You know, that's the way to get connected. You know, they give it to the newcomer.
You know, if you were, I would suggest eating food 90 days. You're hungry, you got to eat to live. Food, 90 days of food in 90 days. Spirituality, the connection, your purpose. 90 days and 90 days, it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I mean, some of the things that we have to figure out on our own once we come in here. I like what he said. He figured out the love. You know, and it's the same thing, man. You know, I mean, if you need a ride to a meeting, if you need a ride from a meeting, you know, somebody will give you a ride.
Yeah, you can always get a ride from a meeting.
You can always get a ride.
If you can get there, you can get a ride back.
Yeah. And if you need a ride, if somebody's going out to eat, like John said, food to feed you, you know, you can get that. Care nothing about giving you a donut or two.
We ain't good, don't we? We good.
Yeah, you know. Huh?
Three
of them.
I'll bring 3 for you next time we bring them.
Yeah. That's gonna happen.
Travis, any other bleeding thoughts?
Yeah, I just was saying, y'all got a good head start right here, but I would recommend definitely getting into a recovery house or going into recovery, or if you got a bad home, anywhere but home, because
unless it's a great home.
Unless it's a great home. But for me, anywhere at home. I wish I would have took advantage of a head start like this and went straight into recovery where there's like-minded individuals, people doing the same thing as you, and people that'll just love you till you get where you need to be. Because I always had a plan, but it only lasted the car ride home. And it always seemed like a good plan, but it was my plan, and my plans are horrible. I don't know if y'all can relate to that, but I would definitely recommend staying in the 12 steps. It's helped me a lot.
Any questions for any of these 3 guys? Anything to say about it? We good? Okay, y'all give them a hand. Y'all did a good job, man.
Good job, man. Hey, John, good for putting you on the spot.
Oh, man. It all works out the way it's supposed to, you know.
Yeah. That was good.
Good to see you, Marshall.
Yeah, good to be here.
You're up, baby.
You know, look.
Tell them about that AAA service.
Yeah. Hey, John, look. I got the receipt in my pocket.
No charge.
You know what I'm saying? No, look. It is a charge on there.
Oh, man.
But this is part of.
You got a discount.
Yeah, I did. but this is part of, man, it used to be a little running joke in, can you hold that for me? My arm getting tired. You know, it used to be a little running joke. It used to be a little running joke in the fellowship, right? How we come in early on, you know, we work in recovery. We got a program, you know, 20, 30 days, you know. You wake up one day, go outside, and see you got a flat tire. You're on your way to work, you see you got a flat tire, you know. You look at it, one individual would look at it and it would destroy their whole day. They would say, like they've been saying, forget it. I ain't going to work today. Going on back in the house and get into bed. Another individual would come out there and see the flat tire, call in to work and tell them, man, I got a flat tire. I'm going to be a little late. I'm going to fix it, go on about my business, you know. Be at work in an hour, you know. And continue on with their day, you know. One of those thinkings, that old process, man, that old process, you know, it's always forget it. Forget it. You know what I'm saying? You know? But now, you know, we got another opportunity, man, to still enjoy our day, even with a flat tire. Man, they say, look, I bought that thing to show her, man, because I love doing that. I love showing my honesty at times. You know what I'm saying? My wife, she already knows it. Like John said, she's always right. You know what I'm saying? So she knows about that, right? But anyway, I said, man, I was going to call John today and see about some donuts while we're here. You know what I mean? Nice. Call John and see about some donuts, you know? So my wife had me running an errand. I had to go to Lowe's and pick up some stuff at Lowe's. I goes home, man, and I backs my truck up in the garage, get the shower door that she had ordered, laid it in the floor and, you know, made sure that she won't go roll up on it and all that. I go to get back in the truck, and it wouldn't start. The truck wouldn't start. I'm like, man. You know, and I'm thinking for a minute, you know what I'm saying? I mean, when stuff like that happens, we have some feelings behind it, you know what I mean? And I was like, damn, you know? So, of course, I called my boss, who is my wife. I said, man, you know the damn truck won't start, you know? She said, well, call AAA, you know? I said, okay. I called AAA, and you know, I talked to like 2 or 3 different people, you know. They said, Mr. Tucker, you need a locksmith, you know? I said, okay. I said, because it won't turn in the ignition. The key won't turn in the ignition. They said, you need a locksmith. I talked to the locksmith. I told him what was going on. I was like, dude, can you fix it? He said, I can fix it. I said, well, all right, come on then. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm going to charge you. I said, I know that. I know that. But, you know, immediately, this is my thoughts, right? I got a little humor about me. I said, I got to go back in here and tell these dudes in the jail, any of these dudes that was breaking in cars, shit, they can become a locksmith and get paid. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, good hit. Become a locksmith and get paid. You know what I heard, and this is kind of crazy. The other day, I heard somebody say, look, man, the best thing to do is to get you a trade. Get you a trade. Because pretty soon, everything that a robot can do is going to take the jobs. Get a trade, you know? And man, I see these dudes that got trades, they flourishing. I done had a plumber at my house. I done had an electrician at my house. You know, I mean, recently, I done had a locksmith at my house. You know what I'm saying? And these are things that you ain't need no college education for. You know, it's a trade. But I'm telling you, we got to use some of this, man. We got to use some of this, you know. What I wanted to talk about tonight, and y'all had heard it before. Y'all have heard it. Man, when I changed my thinking, it changed my life. When I changed my thinking, you know, you done heard it, man. I mean, look, man, basketball going on now. Boom. It's all about confidence. Confidence that I can do it. You know what I'm saying? We see the dudes. I was like, man, you know, I'm a sports guy, sports fanatic, right? And I heard the announcer say, you got a lot of guys doing the regular season. Man, they hooping. It ain't no pressure on them. Playoffs start. They shrink. They get small. Man, immediately I'm thinking about y'all. You know, we can be in here and we can be, you know, and then once we hit the street, God damn it, we fold up. We get small. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's normal. It's normal. I see dudes, man, I'm looking at the Lakers last night. I should have been asleep. This dude, the top 5 3-point shooter in the league. First 3 games, he couldn't buy a 3. Shot air balls. You know, I was like, how'd that happen? How'd that happen? You know what I'm saying? The confidence, man. Our confidence, you know? And it goes back to me, and like I said, man, when I changed my thinking, first and foremost, I need to understand I need a plan when I leave here. I need a plan, you know? I can't go out here, man, second guessing, third guessing and all that. I need a plan. I need a plan A, and I need a plan B, you know? I mean, the hit for some of these people that's already been here, man. You got to establish some kind of foundation. So when things ain't going right, you got something to fall back on. You're going to need something to fall back on. You come out there and see a flat tire. What you going to do? You're going to fall back on the past that you left out there. The drugs, you know what I'm saying? The alcohol, the fentanyl, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? That ain't a good fallback. You know? You need to fall back on something, man, that's going to keep you moving forward. You know? This is the place right here, man. This is it. I mean, a lot of people don't see it as being designed for this. And that's your hit. That's your hit. They got you here, Pam them, to break you. You know? Yeah. You know, I mean, not to break you. They got you here. They got you here. It's working. It is. They got you here, man, for any number of reasons, man. The piece I read the other day is about self-discipline. My wife came to me the other day, and John, I went through this. My wife came to me the other day. Man, look, man, when I had knee surgery, these are my personal experiences. I had knee surgery. I know I have a problem with high blood pressure. I know I do. And I told her, I said, look, when I go to the hospital to have my knee surgery, I want my blood pressure to be under control. So 30 days before, I'm changing things, man. I'm changing things. I'm changing my thinking. You know what I'm saying? I'm changing things, you know? Man, I wish I could show you my blood pressure, man, for the last 2 months. Man, I won't eat nothing that appears to have salt in it. Cut down on my sugar. You know, for those that saw me when I got here, you could tell I had lost weight. I was drinking a lot of water, you know. And man, my blood pressure, one time, my blood pressure was so low, I asked the nurse, I said, look, am I living? I'm still living. Man, my blood pressure was 116/69. Me either. I was like, are you kidding? You know what I'm saying? And then like my blood pressure now is like normal. It's like 120/79, you know? And because of the piece that I read, the piece said, discipline is about self-love. How much do you care about yourself? How much do you love yourself? You know? And I was reading that last night. I'll tell you, my wife came in and she had some jelly beans. You know? You want some jelly beans? I'm like a drug dealer. Yeah. She said, you want some jelly beans? And I said, no, I just had a Hostess cupcake. You know what I'm saying? I had my sweets for the night. You know what I mean? And I have instilled that self-discipline within myself, you know? And man, you know why? Because I see it working. Same thing about coming into recovery. You know, what these guys talking about. You come in here for a minute and you start to see this thing working, you know? And I can identify. Being 21, 22, 23 years old, I did not know what I thought, what I believed. I ain't have no beliefs. You know, I would do anything. My famous belief was I'll try anything once. Man, that mess done got me into so much trouble. You know what I'm saying? That done got me into so much trouble, you know. I ain't doing that no more, you know. I try to come in here and practice some principles and live by some principles in this program, not only for myself, but for other people that I come in contact with, you know what I'm saying? Even for the newcomers, to have some principles, you know what I'm saying? Now, I tell you, you know, just like I said, when I first came in here, it wasn't like that. You know, I ain't know what I believed. When I first got here, when I first showed up, I was like, man, it's a bad idea for them to have men and women in these meetings together. You know? We're going to be trying to get with each other. You know what I'm saying? And when, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, now I know right here. I know this is totally different right here. But I'm talking about in the meetings. You know? I mean, the girls in there trying to get a guy, the guy in there trying to get a girl, you know what I mean? And then they get a girl, and then they wondering, well, why she do that, you know? And I was like, man, some of these girls think just like we think. You know what I'm saying? They in here trying to get what they want, you know? After that, I'm done, you know? They ain't looking for no love. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know nothing about that. We got to learn about that. We got to learn how to love. My wife tells me right now, man, I love her much differently, much more than I did when I first, I mean, man, if y'all don't know, man, me and my wife started dating each other when we were 14 years old. We were in high school, you know, 14 years old. Huh? Yeah, we started dating each other, man. We were 14 years old, man. I go to penitentiary at 23 years old. When I get arrested, it wasn't even my wife then. She was pregnant. My little girl learned how to walk at the Virginia State Penitentiary, holding on to the tables, man. That's where she learned how to walk at. Everybody knew her. That's Marshall's daughter, you know? And man, little did I know, and John will tell you, little did I know how that affected her. When my daughter got to be 12 years old, she made a commitment to herself. She said, one day I'm going to become a lawyer because I think my dad probably need my help. You know what I mean? I mean, that's how I was screwing the family up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what she did, man. My daughter's a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? And John tell you, I got 2 lawyers. You know, when I got out the penitentiary, my son was born, and my daughter convinced my son, after my son played ball in UVA and, you know, did all of that, my daughter convinced him, man, you have to become a lawyer. You know? And they did. I got 2 lawyers, you know. Man, in some circles, that shit make me look good. You know what I'm saying? I was a dope fiend. You know what I'm saying? I was a dope fiend. Thank God for that woman that I married, you know. And it was just as simple as this, man. She said one day, she researched things, and she said, talking to Mr. Reynolds, she researched things, and she said, it's 2 careers you can become rich in, and that's doctor or lawyer. She told the kids just like this, pick one. My daughter picked the lawyer, you know, and that's how it happened. You know what I'm saying? My daughter graduated from Georgetown Law, you know. I didn't even know this, that Georgetown was one of the top 20 law schools in the world. Top 20 in the world, you know. I tell my daughter all the time, girl, you come from a good stock. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you smart. I'm smart. And my story, before I did 6 years in the penitentiary, I went to VCU School of Engineering. I wasn't no dummy. But man, the drug don't care. The heroin don't care. Where you went, who you know, and all of that, it does not care. When I look, I'm on a track, man, for like 15 years. When I get clean, I was 36 years old. You know? I did have enough, like I said earlier, some things you have to figure out yourself. I did have enough sense to understand that, man, this ain't all you can do. In and out the penitentiary, in and out of the jail. Went to jail 7 times. You know? This ain't, you can do more than this. And man, when I go back, man, look, when I go back, man, you know, my name is Marshall Delano Tucker. Marshall Delano Tucker, you know. The Marshall came from Thurgood Marshall, who was a black chief justice. The Delano came from Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was the president. My dad won't just throwing goddamn names out there. You know what I'm saying? They were good names. He was doing that because he had a plan for me. You know? Man, when I got arrested, man, I went to the penitentiary. My dad wouldn't even come see me. Because he told me like this, man, I ain't raised my child like that. You know? In court, man, John talking about working the steps, man. When I got here into this program and started working the steps of the program, I had to let go of some of that vindictiveness that I had to my daddy. Because I couldn't understand it. My dad was an alcoholic as well. I couldn't understand it. I had to come here to understand what was going on with me and what was going on with my family. Just recently, I sold the house that my mother passed. I sold the house that all of us lived in from 4 years old to now, right? My dad, when my mother and father got a divorce in the 60s, my dad took his portion of the house and gave it to me, put it in my name. And that portion of the house was in me and my mother's name until my mother passed. You know what I'm saying? I was pissing all over that. I was pissing all over the name. I was pissing all over what he had done for me. And I was mad and angry at him, vindictive at him, like he ain't uphold his end of the bargain. And like most of us, we refuse to point the finger at ourselves. If your mother, your aunt, your cousin, your wife, or whatever won't do what you want them to do, you got a problem with it. Man, come up in here, man, and find out something about yourself, man. If you don't come up in here, go somewhere and find out something about yourself, man. What you're capable of doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I did. Man, I'm forever grateful for this program, man. You know, I mean, I do shit today on a daily basis, man, to elevate myself. My wife, I'm telling my wife, I'm reading some shit the other day, and it was like, how did people communicate before the Europeans came up with words? Somebody discovered words. How did they communicate with each other? Through body language and through telepathy. We almost read each other's mind. I can look at you and say, you don't want to be here. That's what we did. You know what I'm saying? Before there was words. And these people here are taught and trained to do the same shit. I was taught and trained to do this shit once I got here. Because for me, when I got here, I thought life was a great big party. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna party until we got tired. Man, all the little intricacies about life, I ain't know nothing about that shit. I know how to, and look, my daughter tells me the other day, she said, Dad, you are a better grandfather than you are father. You know what I'm saying? I said, that's very wise. But you need to understand, you're going to be the same way. You know what I'm saying? Because you calling me now about your 15-year-old daughter. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know what to do. You'll get it better when she have kids. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it goes, you know. But I didn't know that kind of stuff, man. All I knew a little bit about engineering. I knew a little bit about the streets. I knew a little bit about life, you know. But, man, it was a whole lot of shit that I didn't know. I come in here and I got it, man, you know. And, man, I'm forever grateful for that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, and it's the same thing. Like I tell my wife, man, all y'all know, I'm 71 years old. My wife is 71. Neither one of us look like it. That's what folks tell us anyway, you know. And neither one of us look like it. And so I'm telling her, this is my thinking. I know how love is. So what we supposed to do? We supposed to get to 65 years old and then love becomes routine, or can we elevate that shit? Man, let's elevate it. Let's learn how to communicate through our body language, and let's learn how to communicate through telepathy. I can read her mind, she can read mine. You know? And man, one of the things that we do, and I'll tell you how open-minded it is, man. Look, when me and my wife go to bed at night, we always hold hands before we go to sleep. We always hold hands before we go to sleep, you know? And I got that from my grandkids. I had grandkids. They were like 2 and 4 years old, man. Fighting, arguing like, I don't know, like a mother. And then my daughter took a picture of them. They're in the back seat. They going somewhere. They sleep. And they holding each other's hands. You know what I'm saying? You know, we done got to the core. We done got to the heart. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I think today, man. I think, man, all of us, man, got a heart underneath all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It is a heart up under there somewhere, you know? And I just want the next individual to find it. I'm talking to an individual today, and he was talking about love. I said, man, learn to love yourself, man. You know? Learn to love yourself. You can't help somebody else, man, consistently if you ain't loving and helping yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to do that, man, because you want that shit to be authentic. You want it to be authentic, you know? Because otherwise, man, shit, man, we can get caught up, man, and we can get pulled in all different directions and shit, and we trying to figure out, man, where we going, how we going to get there and all of that, you know? And we come in here, this shit is simple. What I like about recovery now is the different pathways. And I had to embrace that. I had to embrace the different pathways. I come from old school. You know, John will tell you, if you was a newcomer, you come in a meeting, you better not say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that you don't know shit. All you know about is what you did in the jail and what you did using. You get with somebody and they explain to you how this thing goes. We want to come in and give people a message of recovery. Your time is going to come. Give them 6 months. And that's a small sacrifice, you know, to give it to them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for most of us right while we're here now, this is the sacrifice y'all giving. You know, you giving a sacrifice now, man. You know, you ain't got to do it while you're out there on the street. You know what I mean? Do it now, man. You know what I'm saying? And you know, just get on this train, man. Y'all can ride with me and John. Me and John will take you. You know what I'm saying? You know, because this is how I think right here. We at Henrico Jail right now. I don't know. I might be at Pamarket Wednesday. I still got to figure that out. But, you know, then they're going to build other treatment centers and all that kind of bullshit like that. They're throwing money at recovery now. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you get a chance to give that message back. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful that they're doing that shit, man. Because I already know, and y'all know too, that drug shit is some powerful shit, man. That's some powerful shit, man. You know, it ain't a whole lot to say, look, man, fuck it, man, I ain't doing that shit no more. And walk away. No. Hey. How many of y'all know Richard Pryor? You know about Richard Pryor? Yeah, Richard Pryor made a statement one time. He was like, man, look, man, I'm sitting at home minding my own business, man, and that damn pipe calling me. You know what I'm saying? He was like, that pipe calling me. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm going to set myself on fire and everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm still calling me, you know? And we understand, man. So many of us, man, when we, you know, we're gonna get some help when we broke. Ain't thinking about getting no help when we got a pocket full of money, you know? Shit, I'm gonna get another one, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about that the other day. Money management, you know what I'm saying? How we manage our money. You got $500, you spending like crazy. You get down to that last $50 bill, you be like, man, I ain't breaking this motherfucker. I ain't breaking this, because I know if I break it, it's gone, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be gone, you know? And so then you started managing it, you know what I'm saying? Man, it ain't no secret, man. And, you know, I want a good manager of money. And I know other people that want a good manager of money. Dude called me a couple of months ago. He's like, man, I saw this nice-ass car. You know what I'm saying? And I already know this dude scrambling with debt. I said, man, well, how the numbers work? Well, I don't know. I ain't worked the numbers yet. You know what I'm saying? Man, work the damn numbers, man. Look at it. Yeah, don't. We too old, goddamn, to be going into debt. You know what I'm saying? Work them numbers, man. Make sure them numbers work. You know what I'm saying? Because there have been times when people have got John to go with them to the bank. They done got a paycheck, man. I don't know what to do with it, man. I'm anxious. I'm nervous. I'm upset. You know what I'm saying? You started feeling you get bubble guts like you do with the dope. You know what I'm saying? You getting ready to shit on yourself because you got money in your hand. You know what I'm saying? And you know, man, we'll help you with that. You know what I'm saying? Man, put a stop in your ass. you know, hey, there is a solution, man. There is a solution to all the problems that we got. You know what I mean? Even if it's just recognizing the problem. You know, even just recognizing, man, I went too far with that drug shit. You know what I'm saying? I went too far with that. You know, what I do now? Now I come back. You know what I mean? And you come back, man, and you enjoy your life, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, jail is only bad if that's what you make it. Now look here, I just say this. Boy, I thank God y'all ain't down there in Richmond City. Man. Shit, that's just like being on like one of the corners down there. You know what I'm saying? 5 motherfuckers done died down there. Get out here, man. You know? So it ain't bad, man. It's what you make it. You know what I'm saying? You know, all right, you good. I talk loud. But, again, we have been committed, man. We have been committed. And this ain't just committed just for the day, just for the week, just for this year. I'm committed to the day that I die. I swore to my wife, I want to be able to learn until the day that I die. You know, that's what I want. You know what I'm saying? You know, I done been a knucklehead enough, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, I done been a knucklehead enough, man. You know, and there's a lot of shit out there that I can learn from. You know? But anybody, John, they got some questions.
See if Tanya want to give a
Tanya.
hit. She keeps showing up pretty regular.
Yeah. Come on, Tanya.
She usually carries a pretty good hit.
Come on, Tanya. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I got to show this to my wife.
Give Marshall a hand for coming on up in here.
Yeah.
Talk to the Facebook people.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Marshall. I'm Tanya, grateful Reverend Addict.
Hey, Tanya.
I just want to talk about the first step real quick.
Yeah.
I had to admit that I was powerless over some shit. Drugs, alcohol, unhealthy relationships. Being a mother, the mother that I was not being while I was in the madness, the daughter I wasn't being, whole lot of stuff. Admit that I was powerless and my life was completely unmanageable. totally unmanageable. So I had to surrender. And surrender for me means sweet surrender. I had to give back to God everything that he had given to me. My life, my mind, my emotions, my talents, my gifts, my abilities, my health, my strength, everything that he had loaned me, my children, everything. Put it in his hands. And as I'm ready to receive these gifts, as I work a process like this because I want some semblance of a good life, and I began to work this process, and I'm feeding the surface issues with meetings and sponsorship and showing up. And as I feed the surface issues, I began to feed the internal issues. Because see, that's the only way I could stay stopped. I had to deal with some stuff. Go way back to when I was a little girl. Address some issues in my life that I had not addressed. Some aces, some trauma, some pain, some misunderstandings. And get rid of some of that old stuff. And as we get rid of the old, we're making way for God to bring that newness into our lives. But you have to do some work. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's going to be easy, because it's not. But whatever you work hard towards, you're going to gain some great benefits. The promises of this process do come true when you do your work. And you take it one day at a time. The Bible says don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow, because if tomorrow comes, tomorrow's troubles are going to take care of themselves. But God gave us 24 hours today, 24 hours to be better today than we were yesterday. And keeping it real simple. Don't overwhelm yourself by worrying about more than you're able to. Today, God fully equipped me to meet every challenge of this day. Amen. Just for today. And that's what this program asks you to do. Stay in today. Stay focused. And when you're ready to receive your blessings, when those healthy relationships are restored, because now I know what a healthy relationship looks like, because I have a healthy relationship with myself and with my higher power. See, I can't expect someone else to do for me what I'm not first willing to do for myself. If I don't love me, how am I going to know what love is, what it looks like, and what it feels like when it shows up? I have to first respect myself before I can expect someone else to show me respect. So these are the gifts, the things that we gained back, that we gave away, that you get back. Your self-love, your confidence, your dignity, your self-respect. And then when those other things start coming back, like you start rebuilding relationships with your children, with your parents. These are the promises, but in order to get these things back in our lives, we have to be ready to receive these gifts. So this is preparation ground, getting you ready to receive the newness that God has for you. We know what we got out there in the madness. If you had enough pain, then you're going to do the work on this side to get better. Because there's one thing that's constant, and that's change. If nothing changes, nothing changes. You walked in this door one way, and the hope is that you're going to walk out better than you were when you walked in here. And that's by doing some work on yourself. Avoid those conversations where they sit there and they glorify the addiction and the lifestyle, because you do get caught up in those things. But you want something different, so you have to have a complete mindset change. The way you think about things. Understand that you're not a victim. You're a survivor because you're still here. You made it here. So we're conquerors with Christ. Most people would not have been able to survive some of the things that we have. So that lets us know that we are strong, that we have courage, that we have faith in a brighter tomorrow, and hope for a brighter tomorrow. Because today, just for today, I know I didn't pick up and use. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Tanya.
Hey, man, that's why you got to go to meetings. You got to come to meetings. Different people frame things differently. John is a nice philosophical guy. Yeah. Tanya, very spiritual. And, Marsha is loud and crazy.
Pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
Got a lot of experience.
So, however it's framed, you might can grab a little here, grab a little there, grab a little there. You know what I'm saying? And take something home with you. You know what I mean? Thank you for sharing, Tanya. You know what I mean? And that's why I go to meetings, man. You know what I mean?
Hey, can't thank you enough for your attention, and y'all keep showing up. And I know we're I know this thing's working. I really appreciate it. Me and Marshall absolutely love to come here. Can't thank the sheriff enough for letting us continue to come in here. This thing can only get better. I look forward to seeing y'all on the outside when you get out. Thank you, Steve and Art, for constantly showing up and doing the technical work. And, you know, we're getting ready to partner with, when I say partner, we give this content out to any jail or prison that has tablets in their jails and prisons. And we're currently in 100 jails, but we just, Paytel is going to let us give our content to them. So we're going to be in like 48 states here real soon. We've been getting over 1.5 million views a year from people in those 100 jails and prisons we're in. When they sit in there, they look at their tablets, they get to see all these videos and all these talks. That's getting ready to, going to be 10 million a year when we get in all 48 states. So we're making a difference. It's a lot of work on everybody's part, but it's good work. When you get out, recovery is going to require you to do the work. You know, we can talk and show up, but you're the one who's got to do the work. Trust me, doing the recovery work really is the easier, softer way. You're not going to be disappointed in doing the work. I promise you that. Everybody in here is going to love being an old timer, okay? You love being, you're going to hate being a relapser coming in and out, but you will love being an old timer, I promise you that. We'll be back in 2 weeks. And once again, thank you everybody for making these meetings possible.
Thank you all for being here.
We good? If I applaud, how was tonight?
Yeah.
All right.
Look forward to seeing you out there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Y'all behave yourselves, sleep in your own bed tonight.
Yeah.